Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton is a city and metropolitan borough in the West Midlands, England. The population was 263,700 in 2021. People from the city are called Wulfrunians. The city is located 12 miles 19 km northwest of Birmingham. Historically in Staffordshire, the city grew a market town specialising in the wool trade. In the Industrial Revolution, it became a major centre for coal mining, steel production, lock making and the manufacture of cars and motorcycles. The economy of the city is still based on engineering, including a large aerospace industry as well as the service sector. Wolverhampton city centre is just outside of the area, which is known under the name the Black Country. Districts such as Bilston, Heath Town within the Black Country coalfield. The city lies at 163 meters or 535 feet above the sea level upon the Midlands Plateau. Wolverhampton has no major rivers in the city, but there are tributaries of the River Trent, the River Penk and the River Tame, which rise in the city, which is tributary of the River Stour.